Have you ever stopped to think about the unstoppable power of truth? No matter how carefully lies are woven, no matter how viciously they are aimed at you, they can never outlast the undeniable force of integrity. You, standing strong and unshaken, have become a beacon of authenticity in a world where deceit tries to dominate. The very fact that you refuse to bend to falsehoods makes you a target, but it also makes you unstoppable. Let's face it, lies may seem to create chaos in the moment, but they're nothing more than temporary storms. Truth is the unmovable mountain that stands firm when the winds of deceit die down. The universe has a way of setting the record straight. Call it karma, call it justice. It's the great equalizer that ensures the energy of deceit always boomerangs back to its source. So, when others try to tear you down with envy and insecurity, know this: their lies are their undoing, not yours. You are proof that authenticity shines brighter than any illusion. Let the liars take their shot, because the truth you stand on will always bring you victory. Are you ready to rise above it all? Let's get into it. Deceit emerges as a deliberate divergence from truth, an intentional construction of falsehoods designed to serve hidden motives. This calculated act sets the stage for a chain reaction where the fabricator becomes ensnared in their own web of distortion. Each untruth demands careful embellishment to appear credible, requiring a facade so seamless that it entraps not only the intended audience, but also the deceiver. The complexities of maintaining these fabrications often spiral, each added layer pulling the liar deeper into an intricate labyrinth of their own making. Unlike fleeting statements of truth, lies demand continual care, much like a fragile ecosystem that thrives only with persistent effort. As time progresses, the deceiver's reality becomes consumed by the mechanics of sustaining these illusions, compounding their vulnerabilities and the eventual collapse of their ruse. Sustaining untruths forces the liar into a relentless performance, one that consumes both their inner and outer worlds. The repeated assertion of fabrications molds their mindset, blurring the boundaries between reality and fiction, often to the point where the lie becomes indistinguishable from their own sense of truth. This constructed illusion, however, is not without cost. The energy required to uphold such an artificial reality drains emotional reserves, creating a cycle of dependency on their own falsehoods. Over time, this facade becomes a cage, limiting opportunities for genuine connection, stifling creativity, and fostering an ever-deepening sense of isolation. The liar's focus on preserving appearances creates a mental weight that grows heavier with every passing moment, while the cracks in their narrative demand constant attention. In stark contrast, those who live authentically walk unencumbered, drawing stability and strength from their alignment with truth. The architects of deceit, by comparison, are left perpetually struggling to prop up their collapsing constructs, their worlds slowly eroding under the strain of their own making. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap. Galatians 6:7. Think of a farmer scattering seeds. If those seeds are bad, the harvest will reflect it. Tainted seeds can't produce a healthy crop. Lies work the same way. What's planted in deceit will never yield peace or prosperity, no matter how carefully it's sown. Eventually, what was hidden beneath the surface comes to light, and the deceiver must face the consequences of their actions. Deception thrives on arrogance. Those who weave lies believe their schemes are too clever to fail, but truth has a way of exposing even the most intricate fabrications. People instinctively seek consistency, and lies no matter how polished, eventually crumble under scrutiny. Small cracks appear, and over time, the entire facade collapses, leaving the liar exposed. What liars often fail to realize is that their actions set a divine principle into motion. Just like casting a boomerang, the harm they intend for others returns with multiplied force. Lies may seem like tools for control, but they become chains, binding the deceiver in isolation. As trust erodes, relationships falter, and the world they've built shrinks around them. The irony is undeniable. In their efforts to manipulate others, liars destroy their own foundation. The lies they thought gave them power instead corrode their freedom and peace. But even in this collapse, there's a choice. Redemption is possible, but it requires humility, repentance, and a commitment to truth. So ask yourself, what seeds are you planting? Are they rooted in truth, or will your harvest be one of regret? Lies may hold power for a moment, but only truth endures. As Scripture reminds us, the truth shall set you free. A single falsehood once spoken takes on a momentum that quickly spirals beyond the liar's control. What begins as a small act of misrepresentation evolves into an intricate network of distortions, demanding constant reinforcement to sustain its fragile existence. Unlike the enduring simplicity of truth, deceit consumes energy, thriving only through relentless repetition. This cycle turns the lie into a force that begins to shape the liar's decisions and thoughts, creating an alternate framework in which they must operate. To sustain the illusion for others, the deceiver first convinces themselves, fragmenting their perception into two conflicting realities: the fabricated narrative they project and the underlying truth they suppress. This psychological dissonance is both exhausting and corrosive. As falsehoods accumulate, they alter the liar's sense of self, embedding manipulation as a reflex while eroding principles like honesty and authenticity. Over time, this detachment from their original identity leaves them trapped in a maze of their own making, blind to the simplicity they abandoned. Meanwhile, those anchored in truth remain unshaken, free to navigate life with clarity, unburdened by the weight of deception and its inevitable collapse. Living in a world of falsehoods demands relentless effort and constant calculation. The fabricator of lies must tirelessly track who has heard what version of their tale, anticipate the weak points in their narrative, and prepare for any challenges to their credibility. This exhausting vigilance creates a heavy mental burden, trapping them in a cycle of stress and unease. Lies, however small, rarely remain contained. They ripple outward, demanding further fabrications to plug the inevitable gaps. These layers of deception grow increasingly complex, escalating the liar's risk of exposure and amplifying their internal turmoil. As these falsehoods spread, they quietly corrode the very foundation of trust, essential to human connection. Relationships begin to fray as those around the liar sense something amiss, even if they can't immediately pinpoint it. This growing doubt leads to emotional distance, pushing the liar further into isolation and leaving them entangled in the web of their own creation. The strength of genuine relationships lies in trust, an unshakable foundation that draws others to those who live with honesty and conviction. Unlike this authenticity, deceit creates a cage for its creator. The fabricator of lies becomes ensnared in a web of their own design, where every attempt to maintain control only tightens the grip of their falsehoods. This self-imposed trap offers no easy exit. Either they continue weaving more distortions or confront the daunting reality of dismantling their fabricated world. Ironically, the very lies intended to manipulate and dominate others evolve into the driving force that dictates the liar's every action, robbing them of freedom and inner peace. Justice has an uncanny way of manifesting, often with an elegance that feels deliberate. The harm intended for others rebounds with precision, entangling the deceiver in situations that mirror their original intentions. It's as though the fabric of existence itself conspires to reflect their falsehoods back upon them, leaving no escape from the reality they sought to avoid. When falsehoods are unleashed, they often circle back to confront their creator in ways they never anticipated. Those who spread deceit frequently find the accusations they hurled at others reflected back onto themselves as circumstances arise that call their own character into question. This reversal is no accident. It is a natural consequence of the energy they projected into the world. As the layers of their narrative begin to unravel, inconsistencies surface, and the truth becomes increasingly difficult to suppress. The process is gradual, like a slow tide eroding a sandcastle, but once it begins, it cannot be stopped. The exposure of their deception is both humiliating and comprehensive. Liars, accustomed to controlling the perceptions of those around them, lose their grip as the weight of their falsehoods becomes too heavy to bear. The audience they sought to influence turns into their harshest critic, leaving them vulnerable and exposed. This public reckoning extends beyond mere embarrassment, as it begins to fracture their relationships and tarnish their reputation. Colleagues, friends, and acquaintances start to question their past interactions, eroding trust and leaving a trail of doubt in their wake. Rebuilding that trust becomes nearly impossible, as once shattered, it is rarely restored. This unmasking of deceit leaves behind a lasting imprint, both on the liar's standing in their community and on their ability to forge meaningful connections, feel what it truly means to be chosen. You're not alone on this journey. If deep down you feel that you're chosen, you've come to the right place. Take the next step in connecting with us, unlocking exclusive content, and receiving the support you need on your spiritual path by clicking the Join button. This isn't just about being part of a community. It's about accessing unique insights that can transform your life and bring you closer to your divine calling. Make the choice today and walk this journey with us. Claim your place among the chosen ones. Join now. When the facade of dishonesty collapses, the aftermath is marked by profound solitude. Those who once stood by the deceiver begin to withdraw, unwilling to risk their own integrity by association. The support system that had propped them up fades, leaving them isolated in the wreckage of their own making. This separation mirrors their internal disarray, a hollow state of being carved out by their persistent untruths. Ultimately, the repercussions of deceit are inescapable. Lies, no matter how cleverly constructed, carry within them the seeds of their undoing. Each falsehood reverberates outward, returning with amplified force to confront its creator. The law of cause and effect remains unyielding, ensuring that those who exploit deception face its inevitable consequences. Through this, the enduring strength of truth becomes evident. Though its emergence may seem slow, it is unwavering, proving time and time again to be more resilient and lasting than any illusion. The cascading impact of dishonesty serves as both a harsh lesson and a stark revelation. It exposes the intricate web spun by the deceiver, revealing how far their actions reach and how deeply they affect others. While attempts to mend the fallout may be made, mere words rarely suffice. Actions that have already spoken volumes leave a lasting impression, making genuine remorse difficult to believe. The consequences extend far beyond personal circles and seep into professional environments, where trust becomes a fragile commodity. A tarnished reputation leaves colleagues hesitant to assign responsibility, creating a strained atmosphere filled with missed opportunities and fractured collaboration. The once loyal supporters of the deceiver often face a reckoning of their own. Forced to choose between preserving their integrity or clinging to allegiance, most choose to step away, further isolating the deceiver. This growing solitude is compounded by the difficulty of forming new connections, as word spreads quickly and rebuilding trust becomes an uphill battle. Even within the confines of family, the consequences ripple outward. Bonds once rooted in unconditional support become strained, family dynamics grow tense, and a deep sense of alienation sets in, even among those who were once considered confidants. The far-reaching effects of dishonesty highlight the deeply interconnected nature of human relationships. Lies intended to harm a single target inevitably ensnare many others in their fallout, leaving a trail of collateral damage that reverberates far beyond the initial intent. This chain of events serves as a stark reminder that deceit never operates in isolation. Its reach extends farther and cuts deeper than its creators often anticipate. The culmination of deceit brings about a collapse that shakes every aspect of the liar's existence. Slowly but inevitably, the intricate maze of falsehoods begins to disintegrate, stripping them of the control they once wielded. This breakdown is not immediate. It builds over time as their fabrications become too complex to uphold. The initial signs are subtle: a minor discrepancy, an overlooked contradiction, or the curiosity of someone probing too deeply. These small fractures expand, much like unnoticed wear on a structure, until the foundation can no longer bear the strain. In their desperation to cover these flaws, the liar's actions often amplify suspicion, further eroding the credibility they cling to. As the inconsistencies pile up, the narrative that once swayed others begins to falter under scrutiny. What was previously accepted without question is now examined with a critical eye. The threads of their story unravel as connections are made and patterns emerge, leaving no room for denial. The illusion of authority and influence they once enjoyed becomes a burden, exposing them as unreliable and manipulative. In their attempt to construct a world of their choosing, they create a prison from which they cannot escape. The weight of their choices grows heavier, leaving them isolated and stripped of the trust they once took for granted. The downfall of dishonesty carries a dual impact, one that is both affirming for those who have been wronged and devastating for the deceiver. Observing the unraveling of lies reinforces a truth that can no longer be obscured. Falsehoods may persist for a time, but their exposure is inevitable. This collapse goes beyond public acknowledgement. It pierces the very core of the liar's identity. The weight of guilt, shame, and regret becomes a relentless force, unleashing an internal battle that is nearly impossible to escape. Attempts to justify or downplay their actions crumble under the relentless clarity of reality, leaving their self-esteem fractured. The damage extends outward, affecting every connection they once held dear. Those who were close, be it friends, family, or colleagues, begin to pull away. Some retreat out of betrayal, unwilling to trust again, while others distance themselves out of fear of association. The liar finds themselves alone, stripped of the support system they relied upon. On a professional level, the repercussions are equally severe. Lies crafted to secure advantages backfire, tarnishing their reputation and leading to lost opportunities. Promotions slip away, and trust within their workplace evaporates, leaving their career prospects diminished. Rebuilding becomes an insurmountable task, as the consequences of their actions leave a permanent stain on both their credibility and personal identity. Dear brothers and sisters, the peace of God be with you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporary concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this gesture will come back to you 100-fold in abundance. The spiritual collapse of those entangled in deception is both profound and disorienting. They are forced to confront the chasm between the illusion they projected and the reality they suppressed. This internal reckoning unearths long-buried fears and inadequacies, shining an uncomfortable light on their vulnerabilities. The weight of this realization creates a sense of alienation, severing their connection to both themselves and the world around them. The fallout is not limited to the emotional realm. It seeps into their physical state, with the relentless stress manifesting as sleepless nights, persistent headaches, and other chronic ailments. The body becomes a mirror of the mind, reflecting the toll of their unresolved guilt and the unrelenting pressure to maintain appearances. Amidst this collapse lies an unexpected potential for transformation. This moment of reckoning, though painful, offers a chance to choose a new path. They must decide whether to continue the exhausting cycle of deception or to embrace accountability and seek redemption. This pivotal crossroads demands humility, courage, and the willingness to face the consequences of their actions. For those watching, it serves as a powerful testament to the enduring value of truth and the futility of deceit. In this breaking point, the liar is presented with a stark choice: to rebuild with integrity or remain imprisoned by denial, charting a course toward ruin. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. Picture tossing a stone into a still lake. At first, the ripples seem small, but they spread, disrupting the calm. Lies work the same way. Each one creates a disturbance that grows, but here's the hope. Just as the water eventually settles, truth has the power to restore balance. Redemption is not about perfection. It's about the courage to step into the light and confront the damage caused. True redemption begins with accountability, a willingness to face the consequences of past choices without excuses. This means owning every layer of harm caused, both to others and yourself. It's uncomfortable, but it lays the foundation for authentic change. Seeking forgiveness is the next step, and it requires humility. Approaching those you've hurt with sincerity, knowing they may not forgive you, is a leap of faith. But the act of asking begins the healing process, for you and for them. Change is more than words, it's consistent action. You must uncover and address the fears or insecurities that led to dishonesty in the first place. Like clearing weeds to make room for growth, this requires effort and time. But no matter how far you've strayed, it's never too late to rebuild on a foundation of truth. Grace is always available to those willing to choose it. For those wronged, witnessing this transformation offers closure. Seeing someone own their mistakes and work toward redemption restores faith in the power of accountability. It's a reminder that trust, though fragile, can be rebuilt with humility and effort. Redemption isn't just about others. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of guilt and deceit. Take the step, own your truth, and rebuild with integrity. The journey is hard, but the peace it brings is worth every effort. Choosing a path of accountability is challenging, demanding consistent effort and a willingness to confront difficult truths. Rebuilding trust requires time, perseverance, and a clear demonstration of change through actions rather than promises. For those unwilling to face this journey, the alternative is far bleaker, a descent into ruin. Clinging to denial and avoidance only prolongs the damage, as attempts to sustain deception lead to increasingly elaborate lies that deepen the isolation of the deceiver. This refusal to acknowledge wrongdoing triggers a cascade of consequences. Life, like an unyielding mentor, continues to present opportunities for growth, but ignoring these lessons leads to harsher outcomes. Relationships crumble, opportunities slip away, and the weight of unaddressed actions grows heavier with time. Ultimately, the choice between redemption and ruin lies in the hands of the deceiver. The universe does not demand perfection, only the courage to take responsibility. Emerging from betrayal reveals the remarkable power of truth and resilience. Facing deception becomes a test of endurance and integrity, transforming an experience of pain into a journey of personal growth. What starts as an ordeal of lies evolves into a profound realization of inner strength. The clarity gained is invaluable, stripping away facades and exposing the true intentions and character of those around you. This understanding becomes a guiding force, helping you forge deeper, more authentic connections while steering clear of relationships that lack honesty. What was once a trial becomes a lesson, illuminating the enduring strength of truth and the unshakable justice of accountability. Facing the onslaught of falsehoods cultivates an extraordinary depth of emotional resilience. Standing firm against deception requires unshakable inner strength, teaching you to separate your sense of self-worth from external attacks. This resilience transforms into a permanent part of your character, empowering you to confront future challenges with unwavering confidence. Alongside this strength comes an unparalleled sense of freedom. Lies weigh down those who create and carry them, while truth lifts those who embrace it. By staying aligned with honesty, you unburden yourself from the exhausting need to defend or prove your innocence. This clarity fosters peace, as you come to understand that truth, despite its sometimes slow arrival, will ultimately prevail. Watching the collapse of those who sought to harm you reveals the natural balance of life. Deceit cannot endure, and integrity is always rewarded. This journey offers profound spiritual and emotional growth. Witnessing justice unfold reinforces your faith in a higher order that ensures fairness, both in the tangible world and beyond. It becomes evident that lies, no matter how elaborate, cannot outlast truth. This realization prompts deep introspection, forcing you to re-evaluate your values, beliefs, and purpose. The hardships endured refine your understanding of yourself and your connection to something greater, sparking a renewed sense of purpose and appreciation for your journey. Along the way, empathy emerges as one of your most valuable gains. Having experienced the pain of being wronged, you become deeply attuned to the struggles of others. This compassion shapes your interactions, enabling you to uplift and support those who face similar battles. Ultimately, you achieve an unshakable sense of self-worth. recognizing that your value is intrinsic and not defined by the judgments or actions of others. This realization allows you to face criticism or challenges boldly, knowing you are capable of overcoming anything. Truth remains your most powerful ally, a force that no deception can overshadow. While lies may sting, their impact is fleeting, destined to crumble under the weight of their own contradictions. Standing in truth fortifies your spirit, reminding you that every obstacle strengthens your resolve and magnifies your light. The unraveling of deceit serves as a powerful testament to the enduring power of authenticity. As you move forward, you do so with confidence, unshaken by adversity and illuminated by the strength of your integrity.